Last evening when we went in procession from church around down Hamilton Street to the altar of repose, I was walking beside Deacon Curtis, and Father Dan was very close behind us with the Blessed Sacrament. I very strongly felt Jesus' presence at that time. And then all of a sudden there was a blare of horns and sirens. And I'm assuming it was a fire truck and maybe a fire truck and some ambulances going down or going up Cross Street, whichever you want to call it. Someone's life had changed, obviously. And it is so typical of life, right? The chaos enters in when you least expect it. The suffering enters in when you least expect it. But the Lord, our Lord Jesus, is always present. My brothers and sisters, you are here today because God called you here, because God invited you. In the midst of whatever is going on in your life, whatever chaos, whatever suffering, whatever joys you are experiencing, He wants you here. In that gospel today, we hear, "It is finished." And bowing his head, he handed over the Spirit. In Luke's gospel, we hear, "He breathed his last." And as I prepared this homily, the Lord caught me by surprise, and I'm hoping that the Lord will bless you as He blessed me. And the only way that is going to work is if you can set the chaos of life, whatever you brought here today that doesn't need to be here, and give it to the Lord. And I ask that you beg the Lord in the silence of your heart that you might be totally present at this moment. When we heard those words, we knelt, and there's noise that goes along with the kneeling. And maybe our minds went somewhere else. But I just ask that you beg the Lord to be totally present and hear those words again, and pay particular attention to the silence that breaks forth, what the Lord has to say to you. And bowing his head, he handed over the Spirit. And maybe you weren't ready for it, so let's try it one more time. Beg the Lord that you be totally present and hear the words. And bowing his head, he handed over the Spirit. And I pray that the Lord our God blessed you in that moment, and if not, please keep trying. And I just want to say this isn't just someone who took his last breath. This is Jesus, the incarnate Son of God. And it wasn't just someone's life that was changed. We were changed. Human history was changed at that very moment. Things could never be the same. Jesus, when he says it is finished, is declaring that his work in salvation is complete. That he completed following God's will. The consummation of salvation history. In all of that, it appears that it is the end. We end at the tomb today, but we know not only in our hearts but through our faith that it is not the end. And not that I want to confuse what the Lord said to you or add to it, but maybe it will be helpful if I share with you the reason why I had that time of silence in the homily. Because the first time I read through the gospel, the Lord said, "Wayne, I did this for you." And maybe you can insert your name into that. I did this for you. And after a moment of silence, he said, "Wayne, I love you." Allow him to speak those words to you. As I said, this seems to be the end, but it's not the end. It's really the beginning. We sometimes, because of the chaos in life, the suffering of life, I say we, but I know very sure for myself, forget how present he is at every moment of the day. How he is always near in the time of chaos, in every time of life. And we might wonder how Jesus was able to accomplish what he accomplished, how he was able to endure the suffering that he endured. And he not only leaves us an example of love, but he leaves us an example of how to follow the will of the Father. And we do that, my brothers and sisters, by not focusing on the suffering, not focusing on the chaos that happens so often in life, but to focus on the glory yet to be revealed through what we are going through. I invite you to ponder this over for the next 24 hours, and maybe how about the rest of your life. Simply ask for the grace to fully live by the example of love and trust in the Father's will that Jesus leaves us with. May we never forget that the glory of God is always shining, even in the bleakest moments of life.